You know what happened next? Road Warrior Buck and his brother Balding Buck, we've heard how and what a kind of a snit they are. And when they get in a snit, ladies and gentlemen, they are thoroughly dangerous men. Thoroughly dangerous men. Probably undercover agents for the FBI who have been sent down to infiltrate the Ku Klux Klan. The Officer Bar Brady, Alex Marvez himself, is there to, he's the only person I've ever seen that can knock on a door phony. What the fuck? He's there at the Young Bucks locker room door. We know that because it says it on the door. And he knocks in a very strange way on the door while still keeping that death grip with his eyes on the fucking camera he stares into. And with no emotion on his face after he knocks twice, obviously they're not going to answer. And then they open the door and both of them super kick him. And they super kick him so hard that as he goes backwards, you can see it didn't even knock the microphone out of his hand. Because you can see the camera angle was protecting it. They super kicked in front of him and he just fell straight backwards with his microphone hand still held out in the exact same place, just fell off out of the screen, probably onto a beanbag chair. And Jim Ross laughed. He had to. And Excrement said the Bucks are in a dark place. I believe that was the quote. Why do this, Brian? Why just show these two little fucking grade schoolers are in their childish snit because one of their friends in this fucking elite drama has turned their back on him and they're all just upset at each other because they're all just having the whole woman haters club in the treehouse, Brian, is breaking up. Spanky's going one way, Alfalfa's going the other way. Who knows where Buckwheat is?
Well, I'm not justifying the bad storyline and the bad storytelling, but again, it's furthering the Young Bucks. At least it appears this is 2 shows in a row. We'll see if this continues being heels.
But it's phony.
What do you mean?
It's phony.
They are heels in real life. It's not.
But no, the manner in which, they're obnoxious little smarmy pricks in real life. But in the way that it's being presented, they're not switching heel. They're just being stupid and doing stupid shit apparently to popular people instead of unpopular people now. Nobody believed this super kick. And besides that, later on in the program, they come out and the announcers have to say, well, Tony Khan has fined them $5,000 each. Okay, think about this. Sammy Guevara said something stupid on a podcast when he was 21, 4 years before he worked for AEW. He was sent home for a month, docked I don't know how much pay, and forced to fucking undergo extensive training not to say stupid shit on podcasts, whatever they call that training. These guys who are executive vice presidents of the company, that has also been publicly said, physically attack an announcer on live TV. And they're fined $5,000 and they'll be back next week, folks. Nothing more to see here. It doesn't make sense in their own universe that they've created for themselves. There's no consistency. There's no logic. Nothing makes sense. And this was phony. So now the announcers are going along with the fucking cosplay wrestlers that are trying to act like bad guys instead of good guys. That's why this was not good. Not because they're trying to be heels, but because of how they're trying to be heels. And the fucking pussified, simpering bunch of twits that think that somehow because they're all crying over their lost friendships, that this is high drama and that would ever happen in real life. I've come to the conclusion that a lot of the AEW fans do cry about friends they lose on Twitter, because they're probably the only semblance of friends they actually do have. I myself have got to the point in life where I found that friends are highly overrated, and as my old friend Bobby Heenan used to say, a friend in need is a pest. So I'm not going to cry or whine, babyface or heel about any of these people. It's fucking ridiculous. That's why I thought, I don't care if they're trying to be heels, then do something legitimately heelish and somehow transform yourself into somebody that should be taken as physically intimidating. Otherwise, they're two grade school kids fucking playing in a treehouse with their fucking friends. Continuing on.
And by the way, I think Superkicking Alex Marvez would make you a babyface to anyone who watches this show on a regular basis.
Well, yeah, that would endear you to a lot of the viewers. But is he going to be back next week without facial reconstruction?
Yeah, he'll be back. And
Sure.
The other thing is, and I've talked about my problems with their commentary team. Shivani's fine in his role, and he's actually good holding a mic, doing an interview like in the ring or something. Jim Ross, he's been hit or miss in AEW, and it's been a lot of misses lately. But using Excalibur as the great explainer for all the stupid shit that happens, it's so ridiculous. The other commentators sound like they don't believe what he's saying. They're going to the dark place we've seen before.
Because every time that Excalibur opens his mouth, Jim Ross, and to a lesser extent Tony Schiavone, because Tony Schiavone has not been wrapped up in professional wrestling for his entire adult life as closely or as continuously as JR has, but JR hears what I hear and what anybody else that's been in the wrestling business this long hears, is a smart mark talking in his basement doing fucking commentary over VHS tapes. Because that's how Excalibur learned how to announce, and that's still what he sounds like.
The Tokyo Joshi Pro Princess Champion! He is the worst. I know there are smart fans out there that like him, and he did Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, so they really like him. He knows the names of all the moves, but he sucks. He sucks. He just completely sucks.
He did Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, but he wasn't even the one that trained the gorilla.